guys, today we're talking about compromise, what to compromise on and what not to compromise on. Stay tuned. Hey, good people, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? Today we're going to be talking about compromise.
Compromise and what not to compromise with. Which one should we do first? Oh, first off, how you doing, baby?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
I'm okay. A little tired, but I'm okay. But all right. So this episode we're gonna be talking about compromise and things that you should be compromising. You know, things that you can compromise in a relationship. Let me clarify. Things that you can compromise in a relationship is time, sex, love language, argumentative styles, and also money talk. And we're gonna hop into each and one of those things. And we also gonna talk about things that you don't compromise with. You know, some things it is what it is, and you're not compromising with that. But yeah, the first thing that we're gonna talk about is time. And meaning of that and time is some people like in a relationship, y'all may not always want to be, well, one person may not always want to be around the next person all the time. They want their alone time. They want their time to themselves. Even especially when it's a relationship that's starting off and they're getting used to being with somebody for a long period of time, and they're so used to being by themselves, they're probably not that party type person. So being a person that likes to be chill and by themselves and don't really want to hang out, and you being a person that always wants to be with that person, always want to hang with that person, always want to do stuff together, y'all have to meet in a middle ground where, you know, they can come out with you, and then times where you just leave them their time by themselves, or it's just that time to y'all together where you just chilling and vibing. But we all need our space every now and then,
you know, it's healthy to have time apart from each other. You don't want to crowd each other's space so much to where you're kind of sick of being around each other. So it's always good to have that space away. But you could have, like you said, someone that's a little bit craving a little bit more time together versus one that's not craving that time. So what you have to do is compromise on that. You can set a time, say, okay, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, we're going to get together, we're going to hang out, we're going to do this. Or it can be even as far as like going on dates or anything, because, you know, time apart is what they say, make the heart grow fonder. So even if you have one person that doesn't want to be around as much or doesn't want that person always in front of them all the time, you can always, compromise that and set that up to where, you kind of make a day for it. That way each person is getting what they need out of the relationship.
Yeah, and as long as y'all are on the same page, the compromise will work. You know, you got to give each other time and space. You know, those things are very valuable. People's time is very valuable to them. So learn how to understand your partner and how they deal with time and how they deal with themselves and the time spent together. You know, y'all have to work out those things. You can, like she said, you can work on activities together, like 2-3 times out of the week. And then other times, like, let me have my space when I get off work. I'll call you. If y'all don't live together, I'll call you later. Like, let me give my time to come down from, my daily
activities.
The time out of the day that it's like my stressful day. Then I get back to you. You know, giving them that time and having an understanding, like, okay, like when they get off work, when he or she gets off work, they need that time. I'll wait until they contact me, or I'll contact them later, or I'll send them a message saying contact me when when you're free, or when you're done taking a nap, or whatever, when you settle. Another thing to compromise on, and I say compromise is because it's a very well, I'll skip over that. Love language.
So how about we explain to them what compromise is? So compromise is one person having a view, another person having another view, and you taking that and coming together in a middle ground. So it doesn't feel like I'm giving of myself so much and this other person is not giving of themselves. It's like an equal exchange. We're coming to the middle to make an exchange of ideas or activities or anything like that. So that's what compromise is. It's not all one person doing one thing and the other person's just receiving, or vice versa.
Yeah, and you have to be able to give up something. You know, both of y'all being able to give up something is a compromise.
Give and
like
take.
I give up one thing
Right.
if you give up another. You know, it's a compromise. It's an understanding, you know, of each other. But understanding each other love language. You know, we talked about it in previous episodes, and even our first episode, the love language. The many different types of love language. I think there's 5 of them, right?
Right.
But though learning your love language and learning your partner's love language helps with compromise, because you can figure out their love language and learn how to, you know, how can I say,
like
effectively
modify how you would do things to suit them, and then they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, so it's reciprocated back. Okay,
right.
Yes.
Right.
And you know, learning like mine's is touch. So she would give me that touch, and hers would be gift giving. So that is a compromise that we are working on. Like, okay, we building each other's love language, and we're building communication with each other by doing the love languages and implementing them into our relationship. Anything you got to add to that?
No, that's all right.
Okay. All right. The next thing is sex. Sex is very important, you know, time and then love language, but sex is very important. Yes, it can be argumentative, it can be frustrating when it comes to sex, because one person may be getting it, another person ain't. You know.
Well, I mean, not getting
it the way they want.
So typically in a relationship, there's always this dynamic. I think it's kind of rare for you to get two people that have the same desire level. So typically you'll have a person that's a higher desire and you have a person that's a lower desire. So more than likely, the lower desire person may not always want to have sex as frequently as the higher desire person. Not to say they don't want to at all, but it's maybe not as frequent. So what has to happen is a compromise on the higher desire partner to maybe back away some from the quantity of it, and then the lower desire person is compromised on the
quality.
No, the quantity of it as well. So the person that's higher desire wants it more, but they may have to back down, and the lower desire person may want it less, but then they have to ramp it up more to kind of meet the need of the other person. So,
but also you still have to deal with quality over quantity, because if
correct.
It's not good, like that's when I go back to say, like, one person's sex is different. Like how it's different. Like one person can be a jackrabbit in the bed, and the person like to take their time. You get what I'm saying? So it's like y'all have to come to a compromise when it comes to things that y'all do in the bedroom. You
right.
know, I feel like quality, that good quality sex, that great making love sex is different from the quantity of amounts of just straight humping. Like, I think that's better, and that, you know, that comes with compromise. Maybe sometimes y'all may want the quickie, you know, and getting the quickie, get it done. And then sometimes it's about sitting down, taking the time, and making love, and that quality. Like that, I feel like that matters too. And not saying that what she said doesn't, because it does. You know, it's just our opinion, and we coming to a compromise with it. You get what I'm saying? The next thing is argumentative styles, and with that, basically, learning how to hash things out. Like one person may not want to discuss things right then and there, and they may want to, some people like they want to sit and think about it, and some people like myself, they want to talk about it, get it over with. We want to talk about this situation and move on, you know, and we come to a compromise by communicating with each other.
So let's give an example. So for instance, it depends on, so I would say for our relationship, it depends on what we're discussing. It may not be an argument, but what we may disagree about. Give me an example, something that we've disagreed about recently. For example, we're trying to do something for our anniversary.
Oh, okay.
So, I may want to stay in town. He may want to go out of town. So basically what we have to do is come together and say, okay, well, instead of me saying, let me stay in town, let's go a little bit out of town versus going all the way out of town where he wants to go, and then we'll compromise in the middle. So that right there is a small disagreement, and that's something that I can talk about right then and there. Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. I don't need time to think it over. Mm-hmm. But if it's something heavy, something heated, that's a little bit more serious, I may need time to think about it, think about what I said or how it affected him. And then I can say, okay, well, it would normally take me a couple days to get over a particular argument.
Or we.
I'm getting better. Give me credit.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So it may take me a couple days to get over it, but I know he's the type of person that would rather, let's discuss this now. Let's
not drag it out.
Let's not drag it out. Let's get it on the table and let's resolve it. I think a lot of the times, I may be wrong, but this is just my opinion, that women, we don't get over our feelings that quickly as men do. So
That's true. That's a true statement.
I need time to digest it and everything. So it'll be maybe a day instead of a couple days, and then we'll come back and talk about it. And that's for me, that's a major compromise. Because
and I understand as men, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear about it a week later. Like, that is frustrating. Like, you should talk about it when the issue is hot. Like, talk about what you need to talk about.
But you can't always do that because at the end of the day, the person who may need some time may explode and say the wrong thing or say something they shouldn't have said versus thinking about it, be like, okay, wait a minute, let me gather myself.
All right, so
this is the compromise that we're talking about.
This is a compromising situation. So, like we said, understanding, y'all are like communicating, like letting them know, like, all right, you have to let that person know, look, I don't feel like talking about it right now. Don't just ignore the person and not communicate to them that you're not ready to talk about it. See, when a problem happens, it's all about communication. So you can be like, look, I don't want to talk about it right now. That is understandable. Like, all right, you don't want to talk about it right now, today, you just want to leave it alone, we'll leave it alone. But if you don't communicate that and you don't talk to that person for 2 or 3 weeks or for 4 or 5 days, like, that's going to have that person running in their mind, especially if y'all don't live together. What you doing? Like, especially if the relationship is very serious. Or even in the beginning stages and y'all really, really like each other. Like, communication key. You don't say nothing. That other person's mind can be wondering and thinking about a whole bunch of other stuff that you could be doing or would be doing. So it's a communication thing. And if you're the type of person that want to get it over right then and there, communicate that to your partner. Even in friendships, do the same thing till it gets to a point where y'all have an understanding of each other, where there is a compromise, where sometimes we'll wait on it, and then sometimes, all right, we really need to talk about this right now. There is no waiting on it or sitting on it. We need to talk about it and move on from it.
Now we understand what we're saying is easier said than done. But this is the part where people say marriage is hard work. This is some of it, because compromising is not easy. It took us a long time for us to get where we are even right now, with compromise, because it's not easy. Somebody have done something to you, or you feel that they've done something to you. The last thing you want to do is take them into consideration, and the things that they need, because you feel like you're the one that's hurt. You're the one that experienced what that other person done to you. But in a relationship and a marriage, it's not just you, it's the other person as well. So you always have to take into consideration of the other person's feelings as well as your own, and learn to compromise.
Yep. One of the last few things is when it comes to compromising is money. I know some people would be like, money? Like, I'm not compromising my money, or that's not one thing I'm compromising. But if y'all live together in a relationship, if y'all in a relationship and y'all living together, even if y'all are friends and y'all sharing an apartment, compromising on money and rent and bills is key. Like, y'all have to understand where each other's at as far as who's gonna pay what, who's gonna hold it. You gotta hold each other accountable. Like, who's gonna do their part, or who's gonna take care of which bill, and y'all come into a compromise of what's gonna be taken care of. So there's no distrust, or any issues when it comes to when one person say they're gonna do something or take care of something and they don't.
Right. I think too, it's also important that the compromise may not be immediate. And by that, I mean, when you come down to bills. So say for instance, he's in a situation where he can pay a particular bill that he took on, and something happens and he's unable to pay that bill, anymore. So the next compromise will come, upon me to take over that particular bill that he's unable to pay at that moment. You can't just say, okay, well, this is your bill, you're supposed to pay it, you better find a way. No, you have to compromise and say, okay, well, when you get to that point where you can pay it again, then we'll give it back to you. But you compromise with your significant other and say, okay, I'll take this on for you for a period of time. Not to enable anybody, but you take it on for a period of time and say, okay, let's give this time frame or a timeline, and then once that timeline hits, we'll reassess the situation. But compromise isn't always immediate. It may be a little delayed in the sense of money talk.
Yep. All right. We're gonna switch gears here, and things that we don't compromise on. There's a few of them. We're not gonna really hop into them because it's just things that we just not gonna compromise on. That's just a clear understanding. The first one is family and friends. Who your family is and who your friends are, a lot of the times is who those people are who made you who you are. And you don't want to compromise or give up people or being able to not be with certain people because of your spouse or because of other friends. I just don't compromise it, especially if you have friends and family members that beef with each other and you don't want to be a part in the middle of it. You got to come to some type of compromise when you don't want to compromise.
So let me ask you a question for the people that's probably thinking the same thing.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me not say I know where you're going with it. Now, if it's somebody that's just a friend, if there's a friend that's just like, they just no good. They no good, and your partner tell you, look, he or she tells you, like, this person ain't no good. Like, you don't need to hang out with this person.
What do you mean by no good?
Like, they don't see your best interest. They're a liability more than an asset.
Okay.
And that comes to family too.
Okay.
Because family can be liability.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
So it's okay to compromise on some friends and family?
Yeah, we can say that.
Okay. Because I would think in that particular situation, if you're newly married or in a relationship and you have a friend. I think we've all been in these situations before. You get together with someone, and you always have that one friend who's probably single and always wants to go out and hang out and, drink and do all other kinds of things that you may not be doing anymore because you are with your significant other, or just because you've changed, or it could be anything of the reasons why you're not doing that. I would say it should be a compromise, and maybe not to hang out with him as often, or if we're going to hang out, we hang out together. You're not going to hang out by yourself. I think that's a good compromise, because sometimes you can't identify things that maybe the other person doesn't see in a friend or a family member that's detrimental to the relationship or the other person.
But that also comes with, but I mean, the family that's just not like that, and you may have a partner that is that doesn't like your family or friends, and that's just something like, these family members don't put me in harm's way, they don't put me in danger, they're not putting me in bad situations. I'm not gonna give them up. I'm not gonna not talk to my mother and father because of a boy or a girl that's in my life and don't want me to be around them, because we may have had a bad experience with first impressions, or even just meeting each other. You know how friends and family meet certain people, and it's just that first time just may not be that good time. So staying strong with your family and friends that do have your back, that do support you in every way. Stand strong with them, don't give them up. Another thing, your culture and your religion, that's something not to compromise.
Yeah, you don't want to compromise.
That is who you are.
Yeah.
You don't want to change your culture and who you are as a people and as your family. Or how you've grown up, or even if you changed and you switched up religions or whatever, don't change that for nobody. Like, that is nothing up for change or up for discussion.
Unless you want it to be.
Unless you want it to be.
These, like I said, this is our personal opinions, but we think that when it comes down to faith, religion, spiritualness, whatever you believe in, you may not want to change that for someone else, because those are your core beliefs, those are your values, that's how you view the world, this is how you were brought up, and typically you get together with someone who typically has the same core values and morals. So I think it's good, and maybe not to change those things, because they are what made you who you are. Now, if you see some things that you want to change on your own, then by all means, because everybody change, from time to time, you grow over time. But those core beliefs, don't change those.
Stay true to you.
Stay true to yourself, and that's what the person typically is. What they fell in love with is who you are. The essence of the things that make you you.
Yeah. Self-love. Never compromise on your self-love and health. I say that, blend those two together. Self-love and health. Never tell nobody or have anybody try to change who you are body-wise, health-wise, or even how you eat. I understand certain people don't eat the right way and you try to be supportive, but can't nobody tell you what to do and how to live your life. We do say to live healthy, but that's just a request or
our opinion.
Or an opinion. Yeah, it is an opinion, I guess. But stay true to your self-love. Love yourself. Don't let nobody tell you different. Don't let nobody tell you different about yourself and who you are. Because nobody knows who you are but you and God himself. So never let nobody take that away or change that.
Right. And self-love can be in different forms. It can be how you dress. It can be your hair. It can be, the things that you do in your leisure time, like working out or, yoga or whatever that you choose to do for self-love. Don't let anyone change that for you and say, you get into a relationship with someone and they say, oh, I think you need liposuction, or I think you should get breast implants.
Yeah.
And if this is not something that you already thought about, and why? Ask the question, well, why do you think that? Why do you think I need to change who I am to suit you as far as physical wise? Like, you should never do that, because what is going to end up happening is they're going to change more than just your physical appearance. They're end up changing your mind. They're going to end up changing who you are as a person, and you don't want to give up yourself just to suit somebody else.
Let that nigga know you got me for me. Like, you don't want to change me up, nigga. You knew what I was before everything came out. So accept me for me. That's all I can say. Ain't no compromise. Accept me for me. If I need time to go work out and then eat a chicken sandwich after that with pickles and onions and stuff on it, then let me have it. I don't know what everybody in the onions, but that's just me. But
you know,
they're good for your digestive system.
I did.
Look, and you'll never change it. Nope. And you'll never change it.
I hate raw onions. Why do you get those? But then I find myself, hey, do you want something to eat? Yes, okay. And I add pickles and onions on there for him.
Yeah, she never used to, but now she do, because I'm going to get them regardless. We got onions at the house, so I just slice them and put them on there. Anyways, back to the last one on not to compromise is your goals. I ain't talking about dreams. We talking about goals. I'm talking about realistic goals that you have set for yourself and that you're in the process of exceeding and achieving those goals. Never let anybody hold you back from your goals. Now, when I say it's a difference between dreams, I ain't talking about bungee jumping over a volcano type stuff. Like, those are dreams, but it's not bad to have dreams. I'm not saying that at all, because everybody has dreams. Everybody has hopes of doing something amazing, whether if you get to it or not. It's not a problem. But never crush nobody's goals, especially something that they're are passionate about, or they're truly feel strongly about it, and their goals and where they want to be, whether if it's career-wise, whether if it's just mentally, physically. Never shut down nobody, or never allow anybody to shut down your goals and your hopes. I just say dreams too. I guess I can say dreams. Certain things, because some things is just far-fetched. It's just, nah, bruh. Like, you're not gonna fly in the air with unicorns.
I mean, but that's what a dream is. A dream is something that I wish to do. That doesn't necessarily mean that I am going to achieve it, but it's a dream.
Yeah, not saying that you can't have dreams, but I'm talking about goals. I'm talking about it's time in your life as adults where you need to set goals for yourself. Especially, I wish I would have done it like at 20 and 21 years old. I wasn't thinking about, setting goals for myself and doing other things. I was just happy to be out of my parents' house, to party, to hit the clubs, and just to do whatever I wanted to do because I was young. But, this generation is different. Some of them is really business oriented at a young age. Others is still young and dumb, just like how we was. But a lot of things have changed, but never, I'm veering off. But goals, never give them up. Anything else you want to say?
I think you summed it up. It's okay to, stand firm on your goals, whether they be short-term or long-term goals. And if you're really with someone who will care about you and who doesn't mind compromising, then they will help you achieve those goals and not just shoot them down. So I think having a heart set on goals is not a bad idea.
We're about to hop into I Have a Confession, and we'll be right back. What's up, everybody? This your boy Terrio from How Did We Get Here podcast. And our Black Business Spotlight of the Week is RG The Movement. RG The Movement is on all your platforms, on Facebook and Instagram, RG The Movement. They're here to inspire, to motivate you to be your unapologetically self through affirmations. Stay positive, staying true to you, always staying motivated, and always here to uplift people. Again, go to RG The Movement on IG. And this is one of their shirts, Confident. You know what I'm saying? It's great fabric, great stitching, for real. Great clothing. I've washed this probably about 5 or 6 times, and it's still black, still good, still clean. RG the Movement. That's our Black Business Spotlight for the week. Stay tuned for more. And if you want to be a part of the Black Business Spotlight, hit us up on how did we get here at 21 how did we get here 21 at gmail.com. Again, if you want to be a part of the Black Business Spotlight, hit us up at how did we get here 21 at gmail.com. We out. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. We are in our segment of I Have a Confession. Baby, you want to go first?
Sure. So I have a confession, and this was pre-COVID, that when I went into the grocery store, I would taste the grapes before I bought them. I have to make sure that they're sweet.
Oh, that irritated me.
And that they're ripe before I purchase a whole bag, because sometimes grapes are expensive. I don't want to get home and get a bag of grapes and then they're sour and soft and they're just not good. That's a waste of money.
I want to ask people that question: who tastes the food before they purchase it?
It's just grapes. It's not a whole bunch of food. It's just grapes.
All right. Well, my confession, and I like to say this ahead of time. I'm sorry, man, but you already knew. You already knew. She knew I was. But I used to steal money out my mom's money jug. Like, she had this big water jug. Y'all know the water jugs that's out there. She used to have full of change. Man, I'm telling you, when I needed extra money for school, when she leave early, I used to shake all that change out just so I can add to my combo. It's a fat kid thing. So I can add to my combo, get a larger fry, or the Chick-fil-A sandwich or the Pizza Hut, and get 2 slices instead of 1. You know, a nigga big. I need 2 slices, maybe even 3. But yeah, I used to steal money out my mom's money jug. Sorry, mama. Yeah. But before we close out of here, another thing we want to talk to y'all about.
Right. Something to get, if you're, it can be for couples that are dating and for married couples. And it's just a little suggestion, something you can talk about maybe over dinner or date night, just give you some discussion. So we recently took the personality test. And what it does, you answer a series of questions, and at the end, it tells you your score. So it tells you what things you're good at, your strengths. It tells you your weaknesses, and each category is different. They have relationship category, they have a career, they have parent, and then they have just regular personality, how you are in general. And it blew my mind when I took the test. I think a lot of it was true. I'm a giving person by nature. I give so much of myself.
So what was the fun? Because I was a commander.
My personality test was a campaigner.
Okay.
So it's just basically state that I give of myself. I'm adventurous. I like nature. And a lot of these things are true. So I think it's a good thing for you to do if you're on date night, like I said. And then you guys can sit down and discuss it. And maybe you might learn some new insight about your partner that you didn't know. So I'm going to give you the website to the personality test. So
me personally, I'm a commander. I like to take charge. I like to be a leader. Time is of the essence of me. My weaknesses, I can be stubborn and overthink, but it tells you your strengths and your weaknesses when it comes to your personality. And don't try to deny who you are, because you know who you are, especially when this personality test. It may be 1 or 2 things that you may not agree with, that it might not be you, but for the most part, nigga, it's
pretty
you.
Spot on. It's pretty spot on.
It's you, nigga. It's you.
So both of my sisters took them, and they both agreed that it was pretty spot on. We both took it, and we both agreed that, you know, it was really, really accurate.
And we'll put it down here at the bottom.
Yes. So basically, it's www.16personalities.com. Again, that's www.16personalities.com. And then at the end, you can have the results emailed to you. That way, once you're done, you can both discuss what your results were.
Yep.
Let us know. Let us know if you thought that your test was accurate. and if you had any insights or not. We like to hear back from our viewers.
Thank you. Yes. Also, I have a confession. If you have a confession that you want to tell us and you want to rename,
we're gonna have
you
you
say
love the word.
No, say it for me.
Repeat after me.
No, say it. Say the word.
It's anonymous.
All right. If y'all want to come on, I have a confession and say your confession and express how you feel and you want to remain
anonymous,
hit us up at howdidwegethere21@gmail.com. Also, our Black Business Spotlight. If you want to be a part of that and showcase your business, hit us up at howdidwegethere21.com.
howdidwegethere21@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, at gmail.com. Gmail. Y'all see it at the bottom. You know what time it is. Click on it, go to the link, and you know it, the email and everything. Subscribe, follow, like, and everything. We thank you. We love you. Another episode next week. We're gonna be talking about sex.
Tune in.